Okay, so let's dive into this. We've got breaking news coming in,
Right.
a really major power outage. It looks like it's hitting both Spain and
The
Portugal.
whole Iberian Peninsula,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. We're hearing reports that, millions of people are affected. It sounds huge.
Wow.
So our plan here, our mission for this deep dive is basically to sift through these first reports. We're mainly looking at a Sky News transcript, trying to get a sense of the immediate fallout.
Okay, what people are dealing with right now.
Yeah, exactly. What's the impact on, say, transport, you know, roads, trains, planes? How's it hitting daily life? We heard something about a big tennis tournament even.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what are the authorities saying or doing in these initial moments?
Well, the first thing that strikes me is just the sheer scale you mentioned. Millions affected across two countries.
Hmm.
That tells you straight away this isn't just like a local transformer blowing.
Yeah.
This points to something bigger, higher up in the grid infrastructure itself.
Epidemic.
Yeah. So beyond just the lights being out for individuals, we need to be thinking about what that implies for the whole system.
Absolutely. And even with just these early reports, the disruption sounds pretty intense. I mean, just getting around.
Mm-hmm.
There's footage from Madrid apparently showing traffic lights just out, completely dark.
Oh, wow. Nightmare.
Yeah, they're describing chaotic scenes. You can just picture it, right? Drivers trying to figure out intersections with no signals.
It really shows you how much we just assume works, that basic stuff. Traffic lights, we rely on it for order, and when it goes.
Total breakdown.
It's a vulnerability, isn't it? We just don't think about it day to day, but the knock-on effects, commute times, emergency services trying to get through.
Productivity, everything.
Yeah, it can be massive.
And it's not stopping at the roads either. The Spanish national rail operator, RENFE, I think,
Right.
they're saying it's a nationwide outage for them.
Mm-hmm.
Trains halted everywhere.
The whole country. No trains running.
Seems like it. Stop dead. No new trains leaving stations. Think about how many people use trains daily over there.
That's huge. That's potentially stranding thousands, maybe more.
Absolutely, just massive travel chaos.
Mm.
Plus, we're also hearing about evacuations on parts of the Madrid underground.
Okay, that's serious, being stuck on a subway train when the power goes.
Yeah, imagine. Lights out, everything stops, you're underground.
That evacuation makes sense, though. It's a safety protocol. You lose power down there. You could have issues with ventilation, lighting for exits, just getting people out safely
True.
and stopping all national trains.
Right.
That suggests they're worried about the grid stability, maybe? It's a big precaution. Safety first.
It really does paint this picture of everything just grinding to a halt. Okay, so what about air travel?
Good question. Airports need a lot of power.
Well, the Spanish Airport Authority, AENA, they've acknowledged disruptions
Yeah.
right across Spain.
Okay.
But they are saying their contingency generators have kicked in, so that's something.
That's good. Critical systems should be up then, hopefully.
Yeah. Seems like they're trying to keep essential operations going, but you can imagine there'll still be delays, confusion. Madrid's main airport, barrages, it's enormous.
Huge hub.
Any hiccup there, even with backups, could ripple out internationally, couldn't it?
Definitely.
What sort of limits do those generators usually have, though, in something this widespread?
That's a really important point. Backup generators are lifesavers, but they're not, a permanent fix.
Right.
They need fuel, for one.
Yeah.
And they might only power the absolute essentials, air traffic control, runway lights, maybe some terminal basics, not necessarily everything.
So baggage systems, check-in desks could still be issues.
Potentially, yeah. Or reduced capacity. And if the outage goes on for a long time, you start worrying about fuel supply, maintenance. It adds its own layer of complexity.
Okay, now this part is really telling, I think. The
Yeah.
government response.
What are they doing?
It sounds like they're taking this incredibly seriously. Reports say they've called an emergency crisis meeting at the headquarters of Red Electrica. That's the Spanish power grid operator.
Makes sense. Go to the source.
But get this. It's not just some officials. The Spanish Prime Minister and the Energy Minister are apparently heading there right now.
Wow. The PM himself.
Yeah, to oversee things directly at the grid operator's HQ. That level of involvement,
Yeah.
it really signals how severe they think this could be, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's top-level engagement. It suggests they see a real potential for major societal disruption, economic impact.
Mm.
Sending the PM and energy minister straight to the grid operator, they want answers fast. What happened? How bad is it? How long till it's fixed?
Right. And it projects control, reassures the public, maybe.
Exactly. Shows it's being handled at the very highest level.
And it's wild how far the effects reach. We mentioned the tennis.
Yeah, the Madrid Open. What happened there?
Well, they had to suspend play
Hmm.
because the power outage knocked out the electronic scoreboards.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
And apparently it even affected a camera position near one of the players, like
Yeah.
in their line of sight.
No way. A camera.
Yeah. Had to stop the match. It just shows how, well, how deeply electricity is embedded in everything. Even stuff you wouldn't think needs constant power.
That's such a specific, almost funny example, but it really makes the point, doesn't it?
It does.
We think power cuts mean lights out. Maybe the fridge stops working, but it halts international sport because the scoreboard goes blank. It shows just how interconnected and dependent we are. Transport, safety, business, entertainment, it's all plugged in.
Okay, so let's just quickly pull together what we know from these very early reports.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit fragmented,
The
obviously.
initial picture.
We've got major traffic jams, chaos in cities because the lights are out,
Right.
trains stopped nationwide in Spain,
Big one.
evacuations on the Madrid metro, some parts at least.
Mm-hmm.
Airports are disrupted, even though they seem to have backup power running for essentials.
Generators holding for now.
And a really serious government response, PM heading to the grid operator.
Signaling high alert.
Plus, knock-on effects like, the Madrid Open tennis being suspended.
Covers a lot of ground already.
It really does.
But the massive question mark, the elephant in the room, is why.
Exactly. What caused this?
At this stage, we just don't know. The grid operator, Red Electrica, they've basically said they're working on figuring it out, analyzing the situation.
And getting that information out might be tricky too, right?
That's another layer. There are hints that communication networks might also be affected, phone lines, internet.
Which makes sense if the power's out widely.
It does, but it creates this double whammy. You have a power crisis and potentially a communications blackout on top of it. How do authorities coordinate? How does the public get reliable info?
Yeah, that complicates everything massively. Slows down assessment, response, everything.
It really just throws a spotlight on how,
Right.
well, how interconnected all our critical systems are.
And maybe how fragile sometimes.
Potentially, yeah. One failure cascades. Power hits, transport hits, communication hits daily life. Understanding the root cause here is going to be absolutely vital, not just to fix it now, but to learn from it.
Find the vulnerabilities.
Exactly. Strengthen the resilience of these systems we depend on so much. Prevent it happening again on this scale, if possible.
So thinking about this and thinking about you listening, we rely so much on these incredibly complex systems all linked together.
We really do.
What does an event like this, even without knowing the exact cause yet, tell us? What broader issues or vulnerabilities does it highlight for you? It makes you think, doesn't it, about the things powering our daily lives that we just take for granted.
Until the lights go out.
Exactly, until the lights go out. Definitely food for thought.